So this should look like a familiar scene to a lot of you that have been following the channel. This is the same place that I brought the reclaimed boards from when I tore them down off of that barn and house's porch a while back ago. That's the kiln back in the background there with the red and white trim on the doors. To get the logs out of the trailer, just use this John Deere tractor. It's got a boom pole hooked up to the hydraulics of the tractor, chain, and a set of tongs. So you just kind of knock the tongs in and it lifts it right out. And this is just to get them over to the sawmill. The actual sawmill has a hydraulic lift to put the logs right onto the bed of it. And getting a brand new nice blade installed onto his sawmill. It's a Timber Harvester is the brand. They're no longer in business, but I'm sure there's some used ones floating around that y'all might run into on occasion if you're looking for them. Has a diesel engine and it's fully hydraulic. The first step of milling is positioning the log so that you can get your first cut in an orientation that you'll think will produce the best quality boards. The goal is to just square this up into a square cant, and then we'll start taking our boards off of it. But while you're squaring it up, you do get some boards off of the outside that are usable also. And then you can just kind of come back in, group them, group the flitches later after you've after you've gotten them all sawn up, and you can straight edge them on right on the bandsaw. Having the hydraulics is obviously very nice. If you have a manual sawmill, you're going to be doing a lot of walking back and forth and rolling the logs and just dealing with the logs in general. And depending on what you're actually doing, this could be a very big disadvantage. If you're in sort of more of a production mode, you're just not going to be able to do that fast enough, nor would you be able to probably physically do it all day long, how demanding it is. Even though something like that cant there on the mill does not look that big, it is soaking wet, and after you've been doing this for a while, you're going to wear yourself out. So being able to stand right there, right back there at the control panel where you see him and just work some joysticks and buttons is a huge advantage. Also with this mill's large motor, it can really cut through some of this wood pretty fast. He was having some issues with the fuel pump and had just replaced it, so it's not actually running at full speed right now. So the mill can actually cut a little faster. The motor was sort of turned down, not throttled up quite as high. Now these clips are sped up. This is not sort of real time. Some of them are, some of them are not. For example, this one is sped up probably about twice as fast as normal. Once we got some of the boards milled up, we tossed some of the boards cut off the outside of the log when we were trying to achieve the square cant, and we just edged them down to 6-inch wide boards. And for those of you who don't already know, all these are going to be used as siding boards on a house that I'm working on. They measure 6 inches wide by a little under a 1/2 inch thick. So we're cutting them to a little over 6 and a little over, or right around a 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to run them through my planer, clean up a face, and then get a nice clean edge on the table saw also. So right about here, I was lucky, and he asked me if I wanted to run the mill, and obviously I said yes. So went ahead and took control and loaded that log. This is actually the first log that I got when I was loading them out of the woods, winching them up the bank. So it is the larger one. This is the one that was closer to the ground. The first one we milled up, that he milled, was the higher portion of the log. So pretty much same method, just square off one side, then use the rollers to roll it, and then you make another pass that 90s up one side, and you just keep going till you got a square log, and you just mill your boards to whatever thickness and widths you want. Really started getting dark, so filming sort of takes a hit obviously, but still kept milling until we did end up hitting a nail, so that wasn't too good. So that kind of stopped us for the evening, and I did end up leaving with all the wood from the first log. And since it's going to be used as siding, I don't need to let this fully dry because it's going to be nailed to the house with air on both sides for a while before it's insulated. or painted, so it'll dry up nicely on the outside of the house. But we did sticker the stacks right in the dining room of the house that these are going to be attached to. And with stickering, you just want to, it's pretty simple. You just stack them up with strips in between, and that's for airflow, and put these pretty close since they're thin strips. And you'll probably see more of this house in future videos, but here's a look of what these boards are being used for. It has this fake brick siding all over the house, and under that is some old wood lapboard siding, which is in really good condition except for just some boards here and there. And then on the back of the house I had to move the door, so in doing that I need to redo a lot of the siding on the back, so you'll see more on that in the future. And to end the video, I've got a couple things for you to click on if you'd like to. If you're not already a subscriber, click the red button on the screen now and you will get updates when I post future videos. The video playing below that on the left is me getting the poplar logs, and the one on the right is building a kitchen island. Thanks for watching.